Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I'm going to be doing a quick video doing my analysis on the governor's election for Kentucky coming up on Tuesday. This race seems to be getting a little bit closer now, especially out of this new latest poll out of Emerson. But before we get started, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with a friend. Now, before we do get started, once again, I'd like to mention my other channel that I just started called Iron Mind, which is a motivational speech channel where I'm going to be getting compilations of motivational speakers and individuals talking and just making compilations of them with music and stuff like that. So if you like going to the gym or you just generally enjoy listening to those kind of videos, please subscribe to the channel so we can get that going as well. And without further ado, here we go. So the Kentucky 2023 gubernatorial election. So apparently the governor of Kentucky is a Democrat. I didn't even know this until like recently, actually, which is very interesting. So Andy Beshear is the current Democratic governor of Kentucky, and he's been in office since 2019. And the reason why this happened is because his father was governor before, but he was a conservative blue dog Democrat, which was very popular back then, and the state used to be more Democratic, etc. So what happened was a Republican by the name of Matt Bevin became the governor recently, and he was so unpopular that they sent in Andy Beshear to kind of beat him, and Andy Beshear barely squeaked out a victory against Matt Bevin. Now, Daniel Cameron is the Attorney General of the state, and he is running against Andy Beshear now. And lately, he's been running behind Andy Beshear in polls by, 12, 14, sometimes even 16 points. However, in this latest poll, he kind of surged up. And if you actually look down here, it says that he has currently got 54% of Trump supporters. He also has, now election day is approaching, he has jumped to 79%. So that is pretty interesting. In October, he only had 54%. Now he's at 79%. October's poll was of registered voters in Kentucky, while this election final poll only includes those who are very likely or have already voted in Kentucky. Now you can see he's doing pretty good with the ages 50 to 69. He's got 58% of those voters. And on top of that, this poll actually had Cameron, I think, at 37% last month. And Andy Beshear was like at 48, 47%. So basically, all of those undecideds decided to go to Cameron at the last minute. And apparently, their campaign, he's going around the state of Kentucky, visiting people, and on the airways, they're literally just blasting the Trump endorsement. So anyone who says that, oh, the endorsement's actually hurting him, it's pretty much completely optically false. And if anything, them hammering the fact that he's got the Trump endorsement's actually going to help him. As you can clearly see, he's gained with Trump supporters. He's doing good with older voters, which is a 22-point increase from October, where he held 36% among the same group. His support, Beshear's support, has dropped 9 points since then. And if you look at the independents, they kind of split with Cameron and Beshear. So Cameron's actually ahead with independents now, which is really good for the state of Kentucky. Now, however, it says a majority of voters expect the governor to be reelected. So there is this conceived notion that regardless whether or not you support which nominee, they basically ask them like, oh, well, who do you think is going to win? And a lot of people think the governor is going to be reelected. And the reason why is because even though he's not a moderate, he's actually very liberal, the state legislature and Senate are so Republican, he's not really been able to pass anything that's really going to hurt in the state of Kentucky. Now, this is very interesting. It says Kentucky voters oppose the current state law that bans abortion in nearly all cases, especially for it being a Trump plus 30 state. It's basically a 55% oppose to 28% support, which is very interesting. If you look at here, 3/4 of the Democrats oppose the abortion laws, while plurality of independents say the same. Republicans are more divided on the issue. Now, if we pull up the Excel spreadsheet here, you can see that, in terms of, registration, it's an R+3 national environment in Kentucky, which is very interesting because usually the state's party registration is actually Democratic in most presidential years because there's a lot of Democrats that just vote Republican now that haven't really switched their voting registration, but apparently it is R+3 here. It says you are very likely to vote on the November 7th election, and here's it where they have them tied. And then on top of that as well, they actually got the undecided voters to actually pick which candidate they lean towards. And when you have it with leaners, Cameron's actually ahead by like less than a point in the race, which is very interesting. You could see here, this is the people that they basically expect the governor to be reelected. If you look at the abortion thing as well, who you voted for in 2020, which is pretty much matches the margin, which is very interesting. Who did you support for? You see this same poll, you have all of this basically saying, okay, so Andy Bashir got a 445, Matt Bevin got 436, so he beats him by about, I think it's less than a point here, which is roughly to what he actually did in the 2019 election. And you can see here, this is a very, very white demographic, extremely white demographic. You can see the age range is pretty even with the 50 to 59 age range being slightly more. But overall, it's a pretty, sparsed out electorate. And you can see as well, this is mostly sparsed out as well. However, there's a lot of more like high school or less and vocational and associate degree people than even college or postgraduate, which could help Cameron. And you can see this is a majority female poll, which is pretty interesting that, oh my God, I can't believe I even have that there. But this is pretty interesting. Despite this poll being majority female, they actually do have, Cameron ahead with the leaner. So that's pretty interesting. You can see they have the districts here, and they also have the mode of how they collected the data. So basically, after an analysis of this poll, you can basically say that, okay, so pretty much Cameron kind of has a shot at the race now. He's definitely the favorite. Bashir is definitely the favorite, especially since governor incumbents are technically very hard to actually beat. And as you can see here, it says Cameron's support increased 14 points since last month's poll of registered Kentucky voters. So he swung about 14 points, which is a lot of people. And Bashir was at 49% and it's dropped to 47. So this is a big surge ahead of the election. So clearly Cameron is much more competitive now than what he even was last month. So really, to end off this video, can basically say that he's definitely got a shot. I say the race will be close. However, the only thing that could indicate that it's probably not is because a lot of polling in Kentucky actually does have very big misses, especially with like Mitch McConnell in the Senate. Sometimes they'll have him down in the polls. Sometimes it'll be neck and neck, and they tend to be off by like 15, 20 points. So that is another thing to take into consideration. But, basically going off of the data and the previous data that we have, we could say that the race is kind of narrowing up quite a bit. And we expect Cameron to be somewhat competitive on election day. So if you are a Republican, if you want Cameron to win, go out, go vote early, go get your friends to go vote with you. We got to flip this back, guys. Like, it's kind of ridiculous that Kentucky has a Democratic governor, regardless whether or not. Like, it's like, especially that they're a liberal Democrat, it's like, how is that even possible? This is a Trump plus 30 state. There is no reason that the Democrats should have the governorship there. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with a friend. I hope you guys subscribe to the Iron Mind channel as well. The link will be provided in the description down below. And without further ado, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.